Greetings and salutations! Welcome to the EzeeLinux show. This is version 18.19, recorded April the 20th, 2018. I'm Joe Collins, your host, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite distributions of Linux. I just posted a video where I was talking about how Mint was so polished and gave the user a complete experience and all that great stuff. And then I took a look at the latest version of Ubuntu Mate, and my head got turned around because I want to tell you something. These guys, they're right there. They're doing just as well. And I figure it's high time we take another look at it. This is a distribution that we've been following on this channel for 4 years. And it's one of my favorites because of the people that run this distribution. Martin Wimpress and Alan Pope, two people in the Linux community, just nice guys all the way around. And Martin Wimpress decided about 4 years ago now that he wanted to have a distribution of Ubuntu with a really well integrated Mate desktop. And while it was available in Ubuntu, if you'd install it, it really wasn't that great of an experience. So he started working on this project. Alan Pope got involved. Very quickly it became an official spin of Ubuntu. And it has just been really fun to watch this little distribution come along over the years. And with the 1804 release, this is going to be their second long-term support release. It's just absolutely amazing. One of the big supporters of the EzeeLinux project is Jeremy O'Connell from CyberWeb Solutions. This is the only distribution of Linux that he will use at all. So I'm always hearing the wonders of Ubuntu Mate, and for a time, this was my go-to distribution as well. Before we get too far into this, I want to talk a little bit about the name of the distribution, Mate. It looks like mate. Why am I saying Mate? Because what had happened was some folks down in Argentina decided to take the old GNOME 2 desktop when GNOME dumped their GNOME 2 and went to GNOME 3. These guys forked it, and they took all the pieces of that, and one of the things that you have to do when you fork a project is you have to rename everything. It has to have a different name. So they came up with all these Spanish names, and they decided to call it the Mate desktop. The actual pronunciation is Mata, and it comes from this plant, yerba mata, or mata, however you say that, and this is something that they make tea out of down there. Okay, and so the reason why I take the time to point this out in this video is because every time that I have ever done a video about this, people have had fun with that in the comments. So just want to put that out there. The developers of this particular distribution are in England, and they call it Ubuntu Mate. So that's what I call it, Ubuntu Mate. Okay, this is the website, and you can come and take a look at it. There will be a link in the description, and if you want to try the latest 1804, what you will do is you will download the Beta 2 version, and then you'll have to update it, and there's a ton of updates that come in. So you may want to wait for the official release to come along. A little birdie told me that they're about done with the desktop, so I figured I could go ahead and show it to you. There may be a few slight changes between now and the official release, which is just days away at this point anyway. But I think it's safe that we can take a look around and talk a little bit about the distribution. And boy, they have done good work. I have nothing bad to say about what Martin Wimpress and Alan Pope and the rest of the Ubuntu Mate team have done. There are a few things about Ubuntu that I'm not quite happy with, but don't get them confused. I think they're two different things, even though they're an official flavor, okay? So let's jump over here and take a look at it. I've got this loaded up in a virtual machine. I have installed it and updated it, but I haven't changed anything about the look and feel. And there is a peculiar thing with Ubuntu Mate, my video card, and VirtualBox, and that is that if I use 3D acceleration in a Ubuntu Mate VM and I go to open the welcome screen, I get a blank screen. It's something strange. I know that it's a bug that was out there, and it has to do with WebKit GTK2 or whatever it is. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is, but it's something to do with an NVIDIA card and the VirtualBox drivers and all that stuff. But with the Mate desktop, you really don't need 3D acceleration. You're not missing anything, gang. There's just maybe a couple of animations that won't show up. It's not that big a deal at all. As a matter of fact, this is a very lightweight distribution, and it'll run on really low-end hardware really well. And it's one of the reasons that a lot of folks like it so well. So when you first open it up, you get this lovely welcome menu. And I'm going to kind of walk you through this because this is what makes it different from something like Linux Mint or standard Ubuntu. In Linux Mint, you get a full experience as soon as you install it. Everything is all set up. You're good to go. Now, if you want to change that, go right ahead. But for the user, it's pretty much ready and will and enable. With Ubuntu Mate, it's more of a hands-on approach. You have to go through a process. You sort of build up the system a little bit. You install your codecs. You do your updates. I'm going to show you how to do that. But before we do that, what I want to do is make these fonts a little bigger. And this is another thing that I really like about this is you can customize this desktop beyond belief. You can really make this yours. And I'm going to step through some of that in this video today. Now, do keep in mind this is it's a first go. It's a first look. There's probably things in here I'm going to miss, but there's just so much good to talk about that you guys can discover the rest if you want to. Just keep that in mind. This is not an official review. We're not doing that. We're just looking around. We're just having fun with this. So I'm going to go in here to fonts. And you can individually change the size of the fonts if you want to, which is what I chose to do because I actually am recording this video on this distribution. I know it's crazy. I have installed a beta release on a production machine and I'm recording videos on it, but I'm just crazy like that. And what we're going to do is go to Details. And right now, this is a new feature that's new, that it's going to detect whether you have a high DPI display, and it's going to scale things properly. It has decided that my display is not high DPI and has set it to 96. So we're just going to make this bigger so it's easier to see in the video. I'm going to make it like really big. Let's do like 110 here. Maybe bigger than that. You want to go bigger? Let's go to like 120. Let's make it, that's what we got. Now this will be easier to see. And turn the automatic detect off. And yeah, that's a lot better, don't you think? So let me go ahead and close the control center, and we will close this and open it back up and see if that gets a little bit bigger. So let's go. What I just type in welcome and it'll go take me straight to it. Yes. So we'll reopen this screen. Well, it looks like it is what it is, gang. That's okay. Okay, so when you get into this, you go to this Getting Started tab first. And then you can run your updates, you can install the drivers, you can get additional codecs, you can get additional language packs, you can come down here and there's extra stuff that you can install. So that's part of the process. You go through all of that. And then the other thing that they have is this lovely, lovely thing called the Software Boutique. And the Software Boutique is the centerpiece, the coolest part of the Ubuntu Mate distribution, because here is where you can find a lot of the applications that you're going to need. And so, for instance, if we go to Internet here, we scan down. You can install Flash Player if you should happen to need that. You can install Chromium here. You can also install Google Chrome. It comes with Firefox. Yes, Google Chrome. It's a one-click install. It'll go and it'll download it from Google and it will install it. Google Chrome is not something that is usually distributed with Linux distributions. You have to install it yourself. Well, here, they've taken care of it. And so there's a whole bunch of software in here like that. This is not everything that's available for the system, but it is a whole big long list of stuff that you'll really need. Look, here's the latest Skype client. You can get that if you want to. If we jump over here to sound and video, we can take a look here. There's a bunch of applications in here as well. Like we have Audacity if you should happen to need that. Simple Screen Recorder, of course, is on the list. That is a very useful tool. That's what I use to actually make these videos, and it's a one-click deal. Of course, Simple Screen Recorder has landed in the Ubuntu official distribution. It's actually in the repositories now, which is absolutely wonderful. Thank you, guys. Spotify, you can install that here. VLC is installed. So this is just absolutely a wonderful, wonderful part of the Ubuntu Mate experience. So when you install this, if you just like follow the bouncing ball, that's all you have to do is start here, and here you can run your updates and it'll go get your drivers. It really holds your hand. It's a point and click experience. It's very slick, it's very smooth, and it's just absolutely awesome. Now, what else about Ubuntu Mate? It is a chameleon. It can change colors and it can change its look very, very easily. So when this is the new layout that you get with 1804. So we get, this is called Familiar now, and this uses the Brisk menu. The Brisk menu comes from the Budgie desktop, which was developed for the Solus distribution by Ike Dougherty, and it has been incorporated here, and this is what you get right up front. But if you open up Tweak, this program here, and we go to where it says Panel, you'll notice that we can do all kinds of groovy things. Let's start just playing around. Like I said, it's set to Familiar. So let's just see what we get. Let's go to Contemporary, and we'll change that. Okay, yeah, I understand. Go ahead. I haven't made any changes, so I don't care. So now it's going to change that for us. Give it a couple of seconds to get itself together. Well, let's try that one more time. Let's just let's look at Cupertino. We'll do that one. We'll come back to Contemporary. Sometimes these don't load immediately. You might have to log out and log in or something like that. But it's no big deal. This one is a layout that kind of sort of looks and acts like Mac. So that's the whole idea here. It's supposed to kind of sort of look like a kind of a Mac experience. So if you're coming from a Mac, or you're getting somebody started with Linux and they're coming from a Mac experience, they will appreciate that for sure. And that we have Plank down there for the dock, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and do another one. This is called Mutiny. It's sort of inspired by the Ubuntu Unity desktop, and it has things like it has the HUD, the heads-up display. So if you're used to using that, your menus appear up here. And if you click here, this will open up a menu. Let's see which one it is. And it opens up a very GNOME Unity Dash type of menu, which is pretty cool. So let's open up Tweak again so we can get back out of it. Okay, I assume I can just start typing, right? Yep, it took me straight to it. We'll open up Tweak. And we'll take a look at some other desktops that are available here. Netbook, let's look at Traditional. I think this is the one that looks the most like GNOME 2. Yes, this is what Ubuntu 10.10 looked like when you installed it. This is exactly what it looked like. Let's change that desktop background. That one's kind of loud to me. I'm just going to jump in here and do that. We're jumping around a little bit. So we're going to change the background. What would you guys like? Something dark? I like something dark. How about that one? Oh, yeah, that's good right there. We'll stick with that one. Of course, you can have whatever background you want. So let's see. Now, if I want to find Tweak, I'm going to have to go to System. And I'm going to have to go to here. I'm going to have to go to Look and Feel. Go to Mate Tweak. This is the one, I'll show you the one that I usually always end up on, and that one is called, well, they've kind of taken that out now, haven't they? They used to have, no, there it is, right there. Duh. It's called Redmond, and this is supposed to be sort of kind of like a Windows experience. If you're very familiar with that kind of desktop, a little bit like Windows XP, I would guess. And here they use the Mate menu. I really like this menu, so that's the one that I've chosen to use. And before this video is done, I'll show you what I've done with it on my desktop, because I've customized it quite a bit. So this is once you come up with what you want, you get your layout, you get your icons where you want them to be, that sort of thing. Then you can just go in and save this. So let me go back. Let's see if Contemporary will load, because I want to see what the deal is with that. It didn't load first time around. So this is what we get. Okay, we got a brisk menu, and then we have the menu shows up there. Cool. I kind of like that. Oh, I see down here we have the down here this is where your Windows switcher is. Don't pay any attention to that. That's a VirtualBox feature right there. It's just controlling the virtual machine. So that's what that looks like. That's very cool. So they've changed this up quite a bit since the last time I looked at it. Which one should we continue with looking at here? I'm all verklempt. I don't know which one to use. Let's just go back to familiar because that's the one that it ships with. And here we go. Yeah, that's pretty cool because we can hang with the brisk menu. So let us go into the control center, which is one of the things that I really love about the Ubuntu Mate, because look at this. All the settings that you could possibly need are here. There's where you can add drivers if you need to. You can work with your drivers. Here you can set up your software and updates. Now this is something that if you're going to play with this, I want to show you, and that is that Ubuntu these days, let's go into updates. When you first install this, it will say download and display. I don't really like to have it download and install things automatically. I think that's an option here as well. So let me see. Yeah, is it download and install automatically? That is where it's set when you first get it, and I'd rather have it alert me. So I just have it display immediately, and for non-security updates, you can have it display weekly or wait 2 weeks. So it all depends on how you run your system. And then here you can connect PPAs and other repositories. Now, one of the really interesting thing was when I installed this on the machine I'm recording it on, I didn't have to connect anything. I didn't have to do any PPAs at all. There were a couple of packages that are no longer included with Ubuntu 18.04 that I had to go seek out and install from deb packages, but I don't mind that at all. That seems to work out. That's kind of my. I have a few little gripes with Ubuntu, and I don't know whether it's coming down from Debian or not. But a lot of stuff, like I noticed GKSU is no longer in here. Okay, we're not going to use that package unless I go track it down from somewhere. But anyway, back to the cool stuff about this. There's so much in here. We've got firewall configuration. So we've got a backup service. It's Deja Dupe. They just call it backup. So if you want to use that, you can. I always uninstall that because I use my own backup solution. But you can control the world from here. It is actually pretty awesome. Another feature that comes with the Ubuntu Mate experience, I'm going to see if it's activated. No, it's not. I have to go down here. Is we can enable a pull-down terminal. So I turn that on, and now when I hit F12, I get a terminal that pops right down. This is Tilde, and I love Tilde. I've done not too long ago, I did a video all about Tilde and how it works. So if you right-click here, you can open up your preferences, and then you can change this and make it do whatever you want to do, or you can leave it as is if it works for you. And it's constantly running. When you log in, you're logged in, and if you have a lot of things if you're constantly popping in and out of a terminal, well, this is a really good place to be now, isn't it? So let me go ahead and close that because I'm not going to change anything. So that's Tilde, and that's what it looks like, and you can activate that on the desktop, and keyboard LED and all kinds of stuff in here. Ubuntu Mate has really good power management built into it. If you're going to put this on a laptop and you're worried about battery life, first of all, it's rather lightweight, and second of all, they've done a lot to deal with that. I know that there are literally thousands of things that have been updated for Ubuntu 18.04, regardless of what desktop. They've done so many updates on things like Bluetooth and stability. Let's open up a terminal and just kind of look at the guts for a little bit. And I made the fonts pretty big on the terminal before I started the video because I knew we were going to get in here. And so let's just take a look at what we got. So what kernel are we running? That's the question. Well, we're running 4.15.0.15 generic. So that is nice. And another thing about Ubuntu these days is there's no swap partition. So if I would run ls BLK to show what drives and partitions we have. First of all, you'll see that we can see our snaps that are installed. So now the Ubuntu Mate Welcome, that comes in as a snap. Pulse Mixer is a snap. Software Boutique is a snap. They are now installed through the snap system, which keeps them up to date. I think in past versions you actually had to hook up a PPA to get that, but not anymore. But anyway, what we're going to look at here is you'll see that on the main disk here for the virtual machine, which is a very small one, we only have one, count 'em, one partition. There is no swap partition anymore in Ubuntu. That's something that came along a while ago. What it does is it creates a little swap file and puts it in here, and it figures that out by how much memory you have in the machine and how much disk space you have. So in this machine, there's 2 gigabytes of memory and 16 gigabytes of drive space. So let's see how big of a swap file we actually got. And why did that do that? Oh, I need H. Duh. That's what happens when you talk and do this at the same time. So it looks like that it created a 759 megabyte swap file, and that's it. So there you go. Now, what did applications come with this? Well, we'll take a look at that. So I'll tell you what we ought to do that is we ought to get the control center again, and we ought to go to Mate Tweak again. Let's see, did I go past it? Of course you did. You always do. Oh, that's right. Let's see, where'd it go? Mate Tweak, Mate Tweak. Tweak! Tweak! It's under look and feel, dummy. It's down here. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to change this desktop, and just for fun, we will switch over to Mutiny, and then we can look at the big icons for the applications. We talk about what's in here. How's that? So we'll switch over there. Now I'm going to see everything installed in the system, and we can talk about it. So let's see, all applications. I want all. Yes, there we go. So as you can see, you get a whole lot of stuff. Bracero is installed by default. Am I seeing that? Yes, create and copy CDs and DVDs. So that is awesome. I didn't know that was included. This is the backup program that I was telling you about, Deja Dupe. We have the full LibreOffice suite, including the opening, the part that allows you to have a kind of a welcome screen and shows you recent documents. That's not included in the Ubuntu GNOME 3 edition, the one with the stock desktop on it. You just get, I think there's 2 or 3 of these in here, and the whole thing seems to be installed, which is pretty cool. You get the search tool. You get the Mate system monitor here. Software Boutique we've already looked at. Controls for printers. Simple Scan is included. We have Shotwell for photos. Rhythmbox for music. I really like Rhythmbox. It's my favorite player as of late. And then we have VLC included as well. VLC gives you the ability to play back DVDs if you want to. And firewall configuration right here. So you can open this up and work on your firewall. Lost my menu when I did that. So I guess I'll go ahead and open it up so you guys can see what that is. This is this GUFW, which is the name of the program that does this. The firewall configures IP tables in the kernel. And I did a bunch of videos about this a while back, and somebody asked me a question. They said they were asking about how it worked, and noticing that it didn't load up at start. It doesn't have to, because it sets this up in the kernel, and the kernel knows what to do when it loads up. So great program to set up your firewall is in there as well. Oh, when I switched to Mutiny, it automatically switched my, check this out, it switched the buttons over to the right. I didn't even think about that and clicked on that. So this is like, or the left rather, like Ubuntu did with the Unity desktop. And they've now shifted it back over to the right. So anyway, you get the idea, gang. This is a really fun distribution of Linux, and it's a hands-on experience getting it set up. They now have the installer that offers to download updates by default. Also, you can do a minimal installation. You can just get the desktop, a browser. That's it. There's really not much with it. You can choose that option as well. I did not see anything thus far about collecting information about the system in Ubuntu Mate. That may be coming with the official release. I know that in Ubuntu, just Ubuntu with the regular GNOME desktop, vanilla Ubuntu, that was added a couple of days ago. So you boot it up now, and what happens is you get a box that comes up, and it offers to install software, and it asks you whether you want to send the metrics back to Canonical. And what they're basically looking for, this is a big hullabaloo going on in the Linux world. Went on when they announced this. What they basically want is to collect some crash reports and some really basic system data on occasion, and you can approve that or not approve that with the stock standard GNOME vanilla Ubuntu. But I haven't seen anything like that in Ubuntu Mate yet, so that may be coming later, or whether they're going to do that, I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody out there knows and will put it in the comments. So we'll find that out for sure. What else did I want to say about Ubuntu Mate? It's solid. It works. I was able to get everything I needed to get done with it. There is one thing that I want to show you guys. If you're going to be playing with Ubuntu and you're going to install it and you want to play music from MP3 files, you're going to have to come in here and remove this package. Ubuntu ships with Fluendo MP3. And essentially the way it works is that they put an extra package in with GStreamer that makes MP3s sound bad. And then what they want you to do is they want you to go to the Fluendo site and they want you to pay them money to get quote-unquote better sounding codecs. And they put this in place years ago when there was some question about the copyright for MP3, and that way Ubuntu didn't have to could legally distribute MP3 and not worry about it. Well, MP3 is now open source, so you don't need to do this anymore, Ubuntu. But I'm going to show everybody what to do to get rid of it, because it makes your MP3s sound gritty and nasty. And some people go, well, I installed Ubuntu and I was playing some music and it sounded crappy, and I have to tell them why to do this. So sudo apt, and you can just use remove is fine. The name of the package is GStreamer, so GSTRE should get me most of GStreamer, and then it's Fluendo, and I'm using the tab key to see this particular file right here. It's got to go bye-bye. Now when you do this, what happens is that the regular GStreamer components, they take over, and it sounds actually really good. And that's one of the things about Linux, or rather Ubuntu Mate, I almost said Linux Mint, Ubuntu Mate, that really impressed me. Like I said, I installed this on my main machine, and I listen to music and videos all the time with music in them, and the sound is better. What have you guys done with the sound? It's pretty awesome. So I've actually been enjoying that. But if you just remove that package right there, everything's cool. You're not going to find this in Linux Mint, gang. They don't ship this. This is an Ubuntu thing. They probably have some sort of contract with the Fluendo company, and they've got to do it. So just take it out, and you don't even have to worry about that. And if you do happen to have a lot of MP3 music, it will sound as good as everything else, or as good as MP3s can sound. Let's put it that way. I happen to have a lot of stuff stored in the MP3 format myself. So that is what the Ubuntu Mate distribution looks like. And if you have an extra machine or you have a virtual box, go get it and play with it. It is really cool. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I do know people that this is the only Linux that they will use. And this is what converted them from Windows. And I'm all about it. Always have been. Do love Ubuntu Mate. Hats off to Martin Wimpress and Alan Pope and everybody else that's involved with the project. You've just done absolutely incredible work. Now, what I want to do before we end up the video is I guess we'll just jump over here to this other desktop, and then I can close this, and now you see my desktop. Ooh, get rid of Google there. And this is what I have done with it. I kind of tweaked on it last night, tweaked on it some this morning. I always end up, I've used this distribution enough to know that I'm always going to end up with the same setup. So now I just go in and set it up. So the menu that I like is this one. This is the advanced menu, the mint menu, some people call it. I do like this menu a lot. I've been able to go through and tailor my fonts to where they're gigantic, which is what I really like. And then I've set up 3 desks, 3 workspaces. I can switch back and forth there. Just there's nothing here that I don't need. It's just what I basically need. So I start off with I guess I started off with Redmond and then started goofing around with it. So if I go to the control center here and, I locked it. My mouse got away from me. Let's try that again, please. Gee, I was trying to go with, I was like way off too when I clicked on it. What I want is the control center. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go down to look and feel, and we will go to Mate Tweak. And so when I set this up, I just gave it my, now I've got it custom saved. So if I ever want to change it, I can always go back to it. Save your desktop layouts. It's one of the really cool things that you can do here. I did enable the, let's go ahead and close that. We don't need to have that open right now. Thank you. I did enable the drop-down terminal because I like to have that around. I have tilde set up here. Also, I have customized the Mate terminal with the colors that I like. This is comes to us from the scheme that I like for terminals and text editors is called Cobalt. And so in a terminal, I kind of put in my own colors to get it. This is something that's shipped with the text editor. So if we look at the Pluma text editor here, then you'll see that it's set up this way. So I just basically have everything so where if I'm dealing with plain text, that's what it looks like, or a terminal. And Pluma, I was talking about how much I liked Xed. Xed is based on Pluma. So the only feature that's missing in Pluma compared to Xed that I can see is the fact that you can't automatically scale the text. So what I did was just put in these ungodly large fonts, because when I'm doing this, I like to have things big. I'm blind as a bat anyway, so it makes it easier. Especially now that I'm using a bigger monitor. I've upgraded to a bigger monitor, so I do like to be able to scale things up and make them where they're super easy to see. It also makes it good for doing these videos, because I know a lot of you guys are watching on low resolution devices. So this is what my desktop looks like. So if I open up a terminal here, I was kind of curious. I did want to show you this. I installed HTOP, and when it opens up, when you get the meters up here, it has a different background, which is really strange. But it doesn't do that here. So in tilde, it looks right. So this is something that has to do with the Mate terminal. I don't quite know what that is. But anyway, I just wanted to show you. I got 12 gigabytes of memory in this machine. It created a 2 gigabyte swap file, and we are using for disks on this 64 gigabyte SanDisk solid state drive. That's the actual operating system, and home is on a 1 terabyte Caviar Black drive. And when I put this particular operating system on here, it just took off and started screaming. It runs really fast. It was doing quite well with Ubuntu with Cinnamon, but when I put Mate on it, it just jacked it up an extra notch, because this is a super lightweight desktop. And I'm using Marco with the GPU compositor, which seems to be working great with my video card. And one of the things I really, really like, remember I talked about this, look folks, this is the latest VirtualBox. This is the VirtualBox that is shipped in the Ubuntu 18.04 repositories, which is like 5.2, I think. And let's go look and see what that is. I'm pretty sure it's 5.2. Yeah. That's what we've got here. Or is this... It's Qt 5.805. Am I reading that right? Yeah, I think that's what that says. It's got a bunch of gobbledygook behind it. But anyway, this is 5.210, which is what they're shipping. And it's working out good. And the integration is right. See, look at this. Here is a GTK application. Here is a Qt application. When they are side by side, they should look pretty much the same. Why is it that anything with the GNOME desktop doesn't come with good GTK integration? Come on, gang, or rather Qt integration with GTK. I don't get that. And yeah, I'm going to keep bitching about it because it bugs me. All right, gang, I'm done. I've rambled on long enough. Thank you for watching the video. I'm really excited about Ubuntu Mate. To be quite honest, the GNOME experience that I got playing around with Ubuntu with the GNOME desktop didn't really make me very happy. And we'll do a review of that one later on. I'll take a look at that one as well. But I really wanted to get in. I was so excited. Everything just works. This is awesome. High DPI support out of the box. So many little tweaks. So little time to talk about them. Check out EzeeLinux on the web, please, at EzeeLinux.com. Check out EzeeLinux on Facebook as well, if you are still using Facebook. And we have quite a community going over there. Also, check out FreedomPenguin.com for lots of great stories about Linux and video content from contributors like Matt Hartley and myself. We're there, and you can check a lot of stuff out there on FreedomPenguin.com. All of those links will be in the description, plus links to the Ubuntu Mate site. We're done. Thanks for watching. We'll do it again soon.